everybody, so this is a quick standing series for you to do. It's going to take no longer than about 10 to 15 minutes and you are going to need a half dome or a rolled up towel. If you have a block, that would be really super handy, but we can do without if you don't have them. And we're going to start with the calf stretch. So grab your half dome or your rolled towel and pop it down onto the floor. Top of the foot at the top of the dome and the heel is down onto the floor. Step your other leg to hip width apart. Now remember, if it's making you feel like you're falling back, you've taken that standing free leg too far forwards and it needs just to come back a little bit. And it will really depend on what you've been doing that particular day. I'm going to turn to the front. So when we're doing our calf stretch, we want to make sure that we're not hanging out in one hip. We're trying to stand with really good alignment here. Have a look at the outside edges of your feet and make sure that they aren't turned out. They want to be as straight as possible and keeping your weight through the heel of the leg that's on the dome. Once that stretch has started to ease a little bit, if you want to, you can start to step your other leg a little bit further forwards. But again, if that makes you lose your alignment, just keep it where it is. Check in for tension then. Let's check the rest of the body. So check your jaw. Check your shoulders. Make sure you aren't lifting your ribs. Notice if you're really gripping through your thighs. Can you let your thighs relax? Which will let your kneecaps relax. And we're going to switch and do the same on the other side. So again, ball of the foot towards the top of the dome. Heel is down on the floor. And step your other leg to about hip width apart. And the outside edges of your feet straight. And again, notice if it's throwing you back, just adjust your stride a little bit. Some days you might find that you can get further than others. It doesn't matter. Just notice and check in with your body. It's better to be in really good alignment than have your leg really far forwards. Check your jaw, neck and shoulders, ribs. Again, are you gripping through your quads? Can you let those kneecaps relax? And maybe you can step a little bit further forwards and maybe not. Just see how it feels for you on this side. Okay, we're going to keep the half dome very close. We're not going to stop using that, but we're going to take it into top of the foot stretch now. So taking one leg behind, tuck the toes under, you're balancing on the toe knuckles, and we want to make sure that that leg is behind this front leg, okay? So it doesn't want to be kind of at the same level or forwards or a bent knee. We want to try and keep that leg fairly straight, and we're on those toe knuckles. So again here, watching for the rib lift. All right, and again, check jaw, shoulders, and just take some deep breaths. Remember to breathe. Switch to the other side. Again, all of the same alignment points, making sure that leg is beyond the front leg. Making sure the ribs stay down, and just check for tension anywhere else. Couple of deep breaths on this side. Okay, we're going to go back to our half dome and we're going to do a double calf stretch this time. I'm going to turn to the side. So both feet are going to be up on the dome this time. Balls of the feet to the top, heels down on the floor, and this time we're folding at the hip. So we've got that neutral spine, we're not kind of rounding and just hanging, we're folding from the hip. Check that those ribs are pulled in. You can rest your hands on your thighs if you wish. And take a few breaths here. Look at your feet. Are they turned out? Do you need to bring one in or both in? How about those thighs now? Can you let those quads relax so that your kneecaps will drop? And keeping your weight back through your heels. Oh, a couple of breaths here. Just getting rid of any tension, any tightness. Just releasing the whole back line of your body. From here, we're going to go into our pelvic list. So come on up to standing. Just pop your dome to the side. Now, pelvic list, you can do it on the floor or you can do it on a block. So I will let you decide. I'm going to go with a block today. And we're going to place one foot on the block or on the floor. Okay, and then we're going to press all of our weight down into that one side so that the other side will just float up. Again, press all of your weight down into that one side and the other side just floats up. Keep going. Notice here now, is your weight forwards in your toes, can you keep it back through your heels? If your balance is a little bit of a challenge, feel free to hold on. You can hold onto a wall or something, or you can come back down onto the floor. So we're really focusing on using these standing hip muscles. We're working our glutes, our glute medius, which is kind of just on the side here. And this guy needs to be really strong to help with our pelvic stability and our hip stability. So we need these guys to be working for every step we take when we're walking. Switch and do the same on the other side. Again, make sure that your weight is back through your heel and you're pressing down on that other side. Remember, we want the back quiet, so notice if you're hiking your hip up on that side and try and keep your back quiet and let these guys take over and do all of the work. So there's some real big muscles here around the pelvis, so we don't need these muscles of the back to do the work. And again, if you're balance challenged like I seem to be today, you can always use that wall. Okay, give your legs just a little shake. And we're going to do the pelvic lift again, and we're going to hold it and swing the legs. So it's up to you whether you want to be on your block or on the floor. I'm just going to pop mine out of the way. Go back to that first side. Press all of your weight down. Keep your weight through your heel and let that other side lift. We're going to hold it up, increasing our stamina, increasing our strength. And then can we gently move that leg forwards and backwards without having to take the whole pelvis and the whole rest of your body with it? Good. Keep swinging that leg, but it's controlled. It's more of a reaching it forwards and back rather than a swing, because I don't want you to just kind of, you know, use momentum and let it go. Switch and do the same on the other side. Plant that foot down, press down, let the other side lift, and we're just going to hold it still. And then again, you can gently take that leg forwards and backwards, challenging your balance and your stamina and your hip strength. Good. All right, last one. And then lower it down again. Give your feet a little pedal. Shake out your legs. Just give them a moment here, because we're going to go into squats next. Take your feet slightly wider than hip width apart. If you need to turn your feet out when you squat, that's fine. Do that for now. But eventually we want to try and get them fairly straight if possible. Weight back through your heels again, and remember, it's like we're going to sit down on a chair, so you're going to stick your bottom out behind you as you squat down. You can make your squat as big or as small as you like, but keep those ribs in and stick your bottom out and come back up. You're driving through your heels as you come back up, so that you're using glutes and hamstrings. Drive through to come back up and up. Make sure when you come back up to standing that you fully open your hips. So quite often when people do like a squat and they come up, they don't fully straighten up, they don't fully open out that hip. So all the way up. And the other thing I see people do with squats is that when they come up, they kind of thrust their hips forwards. So it's kind of like, we don't want to be doing that. We want to nice and controlled and just come back to fully stand. Check yourself, so have a look at yourself in the mirror when you're squatting and notice, is your bottom sticking out or are you kind of tucking under? Yeah, if it bothers your knees when you squat, chances are you're tucking your bottom under. You've got to get your booty out, stick it out and up you come. Keep going. We're going to do 5, 4, check those ribs, 3, 2, last one, 1. Okay, we're going to go into some of those single leg squats, and remember that I gave you some building blocks for this, so you can start off at a really easy level and you can kind of pick and choose what works for you. I think I'm going to go easy today. So we're going to have feet about hip width apart, and we're going to come onto the toes of one foot. Okay, and then we're going to do the squat again here. So we'll squat down and come back up. If you are happy with this and you're like, that's way too easy for me, I can do way more than that, You can take that foot off the ground, you can have that leg just going in front, and you can do a single leg squat there. I'm going to keep my foot down on the floor. So if, like me, when you lift that leg away, you notice that your knee is kind of a little bit unstable, it just means you're better having that foot down for now until you can keep that knee tracking straight ahead and he's not going to be kind of rolling in. Yeah? Keep going. I talk to distract you from the pain. Can you do 2 more? Last one, and switch sides. So even though we've got this foot down on the floor, you can kind of have it really unweighted. You can use as much pressure or as little as you need to. So if you press really firmly into the leg that you've just got the toes down, that is going to make it easier. If you have it just balancing, just gently touching, that's going to make it much harder. But again, you're watching this standing knee and noticing if it's unstable and it's wobbly, and then you're going to either keep your foot quite firmly planted or you're going to make your squat a little bit smaller. Yeah, it's much better to do a movement in really good alignment rather than kind of going beyond your your current strength level. Last 2 and last one. Give your legs a little shake. Coming into our warrior 3 pose now. So again, it's a balance challenge, it's a strength and stability challenge. Feet hip width apart. Let's start with a hip hinge. So from the hips, we're just folding forwards. So make sure when you fold forwards that you are just folding from the hip and you aren't rounding your back, okay? And you're also not rib thrusting, so lifting those ribs and kind of compressing your lower back. So we want to just be, the movement is just at the hips and up. If you are happy with that, you can stay there. Or we can add the next little challenge level, which is to do it on one leg. So we're going to do a little pelvic lift. So we're going to press all of our weight down into one leg to allow the other side to lift. And then we're going to hip hinge there and come back up. So pelvic lift and a hip hinge. Yeah, pelvic lift and a hip hinge. If you feel okay with that, this free leg that's now not touching the floor, as you hip hinge, you can take that leg behind and come back up. So remember in the last video that we did, we had arms down by the sides, palms facing back, and pelvic lift, hip hinge, and take that leg behind. Come back up. You can make that movement as big or as small as you like again. So we've got that pelvic lift, we've got that hip hinge, and we're taking that leg back. And what you're focusing on here is that your hip bones are going to point straight down towards the floor and you're not kind of twisting off to the side. Not that there's anything wrong with that, you know, it is a movement in itself, it's just not the one that we're focusing on today. Let's switch and do the same on the other side. So find that pelvic lift, so we're lifting that leg and we're hip hinging. Again, balance might be an issue, one side to the other. Hip hinge. You can keep the leg just kind of free and just kind of hanging down. Or you can take that leg back. So remember the arms, press the arms down, press the palms back. And again, then to challenge your stability, you can hold it. You can make the movement as big or as small as you like, and you can hold it. Now you can also do it with your arms reaching forwards, so pelvic lift, hip hinge, leg goes back, and arms reach forward. So that makes it into a true warrior 3 pose, so you can play around with that. Now what can often help with you doing that warrior 3 to begin with is to use the wall so that you've got somewhere for your hands to go. So turn around, so hip hinge and pelvic lift and hands on the wall and leg reaches behind. So again, you can just have your fingertips on the wall and you can really kind of play with, do I need that wall? It's just there to kind of give you that little bit more stability, that little bit more security So feel free to play with that movement on the wall, and it's a really good one again for building strength and stamina there. So our next movement is the tree. You've got different options for the tree. We've done this before. You can either have your toes on the floor with your heel above your ankle, or you can have that foot slightly higher. Wherever you have the foot, you need to be able to get it there using the strength of your legs and not using your arms to pull that leg into position and then hold it still, or not, as the case may be. So find the position that works for you, and then make sure that your pelvis is level. So quite often when we take the knee out to the side, the pelvis wants to twist. So make sure that both hip bones are pointing forwards and that you haven't let your hips just jut out to the side, so you're not just hanging off that hip. And then we're going to just bring the hands together and we're going to hold here. So it's that pelvic lift. You're pressing all of your weight down into that one side and holding, or you're holding here. So whichever works for you is fine. The trick to any balance is to find something to focus on. So look at something, probably don't look at me because I'm moving, but find something that isn't moving and just put your awareness and your focus there. Let's switch and do the same on the other side. So again, either toes down, heel just above your ankle, or lifting that leg higher and making sure again that you're not letting that hip slide out, where you're using that pelvic lift to pull that hip into position and try and get our pelvis to stay facing forwards and not to twist out. And again, you can just bring your hands up and out of the way and hold here. Now don't worry if you're wobbling a little bit, that's fine. It's allowing your body to kind of find where it needs to be to balance, and you've always got that option of dropping back down here. And some days it might be more difficult than others, so don't worry about that. Okay, so that is it for this little short standing workout. I hope that you have enjoyed it, and as usual, if you have any questions, let me know. Thank you.